Some of the biggest arguments happening online about a huge idea like America don't even use words. They happen with images. So today, we're going to decode the visual language being used to celebrate, to attack, and to redefine what America even means online, one picture at a time. So let's start with the basics. At its absolute simplest, the idea of America can just be the land itself. You look at an image like this and you get a feeling, right? A sense of openness, nature, potential. It's the physical foundation. But okay, that simple idea of just land, it can get twisted and transformed into something way more abstract really fast. Like here. On the left, you've got pure, raw strength. And then on the right, whoa, that's a full-blown utopian future. It's the same core idea, but they lead to completely different visions.
And then there's this, a vision where one single identity just blankets everything. Is that supposed to be unity, or is it something more like domination? See, that's the thing. This image is meant to be provocative. It's designed to make you ask that exact question.
Every single one of these images is telling a story. They're not just pictures, they're arguments, they're anthems, sometimes they're even attacks. It's a whole visual language. So let's dive in and break down what's really being said here.
All right, first things first. We have to start at the beginning. Before you can build up any of these big, complicated ideas, you need a foundational symbol, something that pretty much everyone recognizes.
And that symbol is, of course, the national flag. It's the ultimate visual shortcut. Online, it works kind of like a blank canvas. It's just a starting point where people can project all sorts of messages and feelings onto it.
So the big question is, what are those meanings? What exactly are people projecting? What happens when you take this one simple symbol and use it to build completely different, sometimes even opposing visions of America?
Okay, let's start with a really common one. This is the vision of America that's all about strength, power, a really idealized, positive view.
I mean, look at this. This image works so well because it's just dead simple. It's basically a meme, right? You've got the flag, and you've got the flexed bicep emoji, a universal symbol for power. The message hits you instantly. No translation needed. America is strong. Done. And a lot of the time, this idea of strength gets mixed in with celebration. Like here, you see the flag on balloons, and it immediately makes you think of national holidays, parades, parties. It's a vision of America as this big, shared, patriotic pride. And wow, this next one shows just how far that idealized vision can be pushed. This is an AI-generated image, and it's not just about strength or a party anymore. This is about a perfect future. It's this gleaming, super high-tech city, all existing under a globally unified American-led government.
And if you actually zoom in and look at the tiny details, the text in the image makes it super explicit. You see signs that say things like United World Capital and Global Unity, one people, one flag. There's even a Eurasian Central Rail. So this isn't just a picture of America, it's a picture of an American-led world, sold as this perfectly peaceful, unified utopia.
But that whole idea of global reach, yeah, that can be seen in a very different light. And that brings us to our next theme. This is where that idea of power isn't about friendly unity at all. It's framed as straight-up global dominance.
Just look at this GIF, the way the flag repeats over and over. It creates this hypnotic, almost tunnel vision effect. It's meant to feel overwhelming, to suggest this powerful, inescapable influence that just goes on forever. In this animation, it takes that same idea and kicks it up a notch. It's not just some abstract tunnel anymore. That's the entire planet. As it spins around, you see every single continent. Every country is just covered by the flag. It's visualizing the idea of a cultural or political empire in the most blunt way you can imagine. So just to be super clear, when we use this term imperial vision, this is what we're talking about. It's a real shift in perspective. The focus isn't on a country's own internal strength anymore. It's all about its external control, its dominance over other parts of the world. Okay, from here, things get even more intense. We're moving into the most critical and honestly aggressive interpretations. This is where those same symbols get weaponized, not just to criticize, but to actively spread hostility and division.
And this brings up a really serious question. What happens when these core national symbols are hijacked and merged with really hateful ideologies? To understand that, we have to look at how propaganda works on a visual level.
Now, if we just look at this image from a purely analytical, neutral standpoint, you can see exactly how it's built. It takes a classic anti-Semitic caricature and literally fuses it with symbols of American patriotism. You've got the flag over the shoulders, the iconic Uncle Sam hat.
The goal of something like this is a textbook propaganda technique. It's called association. And the way it works is it tries to take all those powerful, positive feelings people already have for something like the flag or Uncle Sam, and then transfer those feelings over to a hateful idea. It's a deliberate attempt to make a fringe ideology seem normal, patriotic, and mainstream.
Of course, this kind of criticism also comes from outside the country. I mean, look at this map. It's covered in the flag, just like some of the other images we saw. But here, the Russian text added on top explicitly calls it the American Empire. There's absolutely no doubt what the critical message is here.
So, what does all of this tell us? When you put all these clashing images together, what do you get? Well, it shows us that we're living in this constant visual battle over meaning. It's a war fought with pictures. But you know, this battle isn't always some big, serious ideological war. Sometimes it's just mockery. It's trolling. Like this picture. The Russian text on it is basically nonsense. It translates to something like Union Pants of America. That's not a deep political statement. It's just digital trolling, using absurdity to make fun of something instead of arguing with it.
And finally, we just have to admit that the internet is, well, it's chaotic. You can have an image like this, a totally whimsical Christmas scene, pop up right next to all that other heavy stuff with no connection at all. It's a good reminder that in the middle of this big war for meaning, there's also just random noise, and all these other messages have to fight to be seen through it.
So, at the end of the day, these images aren't just passive pictures floating around. No way. They are active participants, their weapons, their jokes, their arguments, all part of this massive global conversation about what America even means, both for the people living there and for everyone else watching from the outside.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. We're all in this visual conversation, whether we like it or not. So maybe the next time you're scrolling and you see a familiar symbol flash by, just pause for a second and ask yourself, what story is this picture really trying to sell me?